There are wounds we don't talk about, not because they don't matter, but because they matter too much. Some regrets feel too heavy to name. Some memories feel too painful to revisit. Some choices we try to outrun. But no matter how far we go, they follow us, and eventually they catch up. Welcome to the Catholic Journey with Deacon Pat Kearns. Today I want to share a story, not just about sin, but about mercy. Not just about falling, but about being found. Because sometimes the most powerful way to understand God's mercy is to see what it looks like in a life that thought it was beyond it. Her name is Ainsley, and at one time her life was simple. She was raised Catholic. Sunday Mass, family routines, a quiet sense that God was there. But if she was honest, her faith wasn't something she owned. It was something she inherited. And with high school ended, so did that structure. And like so many young people, freedom didn't feel dangerous. It felt exciting. At first, it was small things, missing Mass here and there, sleeping in, letting prayer fade quietly into the background. Nothing dramatic, just a slow, subtle drift. But drifts are dangerous because you don't feel it while it's happening. And over time, the things that once mattered don't feel as important anymore. New priorities take their place. Being accepted, feeling wanted, not being alone. And that's where the deeper choices begin. Ainsley wanted to be loved, not in a superficial way, but deeply. She wanted to matter to someone, to feel chosen. So when relationships came, she gave herself fully, not because she didn't value herself, but because she didn't fully understand her worth. Over the next 5 years, there were 3 relationships, each one promising something, each one leaving something behind. And eventually, she moved in with one, living as if they were married, without the covenant that protects love. At the time, it felt normal, even expected, but deep down, something never felt quite right. And then came the moments that would change everything. The first pregnancy was unexpected. The second, even more overwhelming. And in both moments, fear spoke louder than truth. The decisions she made weren't made lightly, but they were made quickly. And afterwards, the world didn't stop. Life kept moving. People kept living. But inside, something shifted. A quiet grief. A weight she couldn't explain. A silence that felt heavy. No one tells you how those moments echo, how they return in the quiet, how they linger in ways you didn't expect. And when pain has nowhere to go, it looks for somewhere to hide. At first, it was just to take the edge off, a drink at night, something to help her sleep, something to quiet the thoughts. But over time, it became a pattern, then a habit, then a need, not to celebrate, but to escape. Because when you carry pain like that, silence can feel unbearable. And slowly, the distance between her and God grew wider. She stopped going to Mass, not out of rebellion, but out of fear. Because being in that space felt like standing in the light when you're not ready to be seen. She stopped praying, not because she didn't believe, but because she didn't think she deserved to be heard. Her parents still loved her, they always had, but she kept her distance, because shame whispers, if they really knew, they wouldn't look at you the same. And so she stayed away. And then came the moment when everything felt like it was unraveling. The thoughts didn't come all at once, they never do. They started quietly, almost like suggestions. You've messed up too much. You're not who you were supposed to be. There's no way back. And over time, they get louder, more convincing, more final. What's the point? Why keep going? Ainsley wasn't just struggling, she was losing hope. And then, in a moment she didn't expect, everything shifted. One night, in the quiet, when everything felt heavy, she heard it, not out loud, but unmistakably clear. You need my mercy. No anger, no condemnation, no accusation, just truth, just invitation. And something about it felt different. The next day, almost cautiously, she searched for those words, divine mercy. And that search led her to St. Faustina Kowalska. She began reading slowly, carefully, almost skeptically, and then she came across the words, the greater the sinner, the greater the right he has to my mercy. She stopped, read it again. It didn't make sense, but it stirred something. Could that really be true? Not just for others, but for her? And that question became the beginning of everything. Her first prayer was simple, almost hesitant. God, if this is real, I need you. No perfect words, no long speech, just need. And God met her there. Not all at once, but gently. She went back to Mass, sat in the back, watched, listened, waited. And then one day she walked into the confessional, her hands shaking, her heart racing, expecting judgment, expecting disappointment. But what she encountered was mercy, real, personal, undeserved. And when she walked out, something had changed. Not everything, but enough. Enough to take the next step. And sometimes that's how healing begins. 10 years later, Ainsley looks very different. She finished college. She met a man, a faithful man, a man who saw her not as broken, but as someone redeemed. They took their time, 2 years of intentional courtship, and then marriage. Today she has 3 children, and 1 more on the way. Life isn't easy. There are still hard days, still memories, still moments, but they don't define her anymore, because she knows something now she didn't know then. She is loved, deeply, completely, unconditionally. Jesus made a promise through St. Faustina that his mercy is greater than any sin, that no soul is too far gone. Ainsley believed she was. Maybe you do too. But mercy goes further. Your past may speak, but it does not get the final word. God's mercy does. This is The Catholic Journey with Deacon Pat. Thank you for listening today. If this podcast spoke to you, please share it, because out there is someone who needs to hear it, and they can still come home. God bless you.